Thomas here with Landrone. We're here today with the T100 and our T100 batteries and my T50 charger. So a couple of different charger options with the T100. You can get the C12,000 or the C10,000. Now, I have a single phase generator, 14,000 running watts, and I don't want to buy a three-phase generator. So I want to see what kind of performance I can get using the adapter cable, the battery cooling station for the T100, and my old generator. So I'm going to do a couple of flights, run some batteries down, and then time how long it takes to get them charged up with my single phase generator, which is right over here. So I like this generator. It's a Westinghouse, 14,500 running watts, so right there. These are all the plugs I have. I use the 50 amp plug. This is the battery cooling station, and of course the connection for the T100 is very different than the connection for the T50. With the adapter cable, I can plug in and charge the T100 batteries. So let's get to it. To better understand what all of the solid and flashing LEDs mean on the battery, referring to the operator's manual, it gives a breakdown of how to check your battery level. So pushing the power button momentarily, and that's the upper part of this table, and it's going to show you what level the battery's been charged to. On the bottom part, it's going to help you understand the LED patterns during charging. So when the lights are blinking, what stage of charge the battery is at. And there's my trusty C10,000 charger. Both leads are combined into one plug and plugged into the 50 amp, then into the adapter cable, and finally to the T100 battery. Now these lights are moving a lot slower than what I'm used to, and I think that's because I haven't used the battery in a while, and it's sensing that, so it's a slow charge to start. So here's a look at the generator, 240 volts, 60 hertz, 20 hours on the generator, and it's been running for 2 minutes. Now if we come back to the battery, we can see it's still moving really slowly, which ends up taking more time. Let's look at the light flashing on the C10,000 charger just to indicate there's no errors and that it's performing normally. Now this is the same battery, but you can see the speed, and so now it's charging at a higher capacity and charging quickly. If you weren't aware, in the charger manual there is a breakdown of what all the different colored LED lights and the blinking patterns mean, which can be useful if you're running into a problem. So I put a full battery in the T100 and I went and flew it around for a little bit carrying a battery, and when it hit 30%, I brought the battery home. By the time I'd unhooked the battery and landed it, I think we were down close to 18% on that battery. Okay, the battery's at 18%. So if we look here, we've got one solid green. So let's go put it into the charger. Okay, I've got my trusty iPhone stopwatch going, and there the battery's in, 2 LEDs flashing nice and quick. Here we are at just about 4 minutes. I'll push the button and see what our level's at. So we're 2 solid LEDs. If we refer back to the documentation, it's going to show 2 solid LEDs is 38 to 50% battery level, and we can confirm that our LED pattern during charging is showing LED 1 and 2 blinking, which is 0 to 49. Okay, approaching 5 minutes. We've got 3 flashing LEDs, which is 50 to 74%, and 2.5 solid, so that's going to be 51 to 62% level. Now, temperature can play a role in charging, so I thought I'd just capture it's 6 degrees here in Lake Country. I was a couple of seconds late getting my stopwatch started, so we'll have to keep that in mind. Now, the first time I'd pull the battery out of the charger and use it in the aircraft is at this 90% mark, which is 4 solid LEDs and looks like about 10 minutes. And here we've got a fully charged battery at 13 minutes. So it's 3 minutes to get from 90 to 100%. I've numbered each of my batteries. So this is battery number 1. And battery number 1 and 2 started from a storage state. I hadn't used them in over a week and their charge was around 60%. I didn't time the first one, so I want to charge this battery from 60% being in storage and see how long it takes. So once I get my timer started here, I can see that it's going to be a long charge just because these LED lights are moving so slowly the way that they illuminate. So I think it must be accepting a small charge to wake the battery up, and then once the battery's awake, then it rapid charges it. Still what I call slow charging, but that's going to change at 10:20. You'll hear a change in the generator noise and you'll see the lights speed up. So clearly, this process is taking a lot longer than a fresh battery that just came out of a drone. So that just needs to be kept in mind with planning to make sure to arrive at the job with batteries fully charged. And there we go, fully charged, 16 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, I'm going to do a last test with that battery that we just flew with. I'll double check the percentage. I'm going to fire up the generator. So plug your ears. Okay, looks like we're at, where are we there? 19%. Okay, so this battery that we're going to charge, that flight left us at 19%. So we got returned to home at 30%. We landed with 19%. Now let's go charge that battery. So the first spot that we could pull this battery out and use it in the drone would be at that 90% mark, and that seems to come here at 10 minutes and 45 seconds, now waiting for full charge. And looks like we're getting close to full charge, which is going to be at 13 minutes and 40 seconds. So that's from 19% all the way up to 100%. I also wanted to mention that I did upgrade the firmware on my C10000 charger, which has resulted in much better charging times. Whether this works or not really depends on the cycle time required. So 10 to 11 minutes for a 90% charge, and 13 to 14 minutes for a 100% charge. The C12000, which is the advertised charger companion for the T100, charges in 8 to 9 minutes. That's from 30% to 95% in their literature. So the options are 3-phase power, a 3-phase generator, and a C12000, or a single-phase generator and the C10000. If the cycle times aren't good enough, you could add a second single-phase and second C10000 charger and still run a 3-battery setup where you got 1 battery in the drone and 1 battery in each charger. So fruit for thought.